All right, members, we're back at it with farewell remarks. We're going to start with Representative Eskamani. You are recognized, young lady.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, 8 years ago, I walked into this chamber as the daughter of working class immigrants raised in Orlando who relied on public schools, public health care, and public servants that I did not know, but who believed that government could be a force for good. Believe it or not, I am not someone who ever wanted to run for public office, ever. In 5th grade, I wrote an award-winning essay telling the world I want to be an engineer. And as an Iranian American, my choices, according to my parents and ancestors, were limited to being a doctor, engineer, or worst case scenario, a lawyer. But like so many in this chamber, politics found me. My first attempt at being an organizer was when I was 10 years old, and my best friend at the time was being moved to a different class, thus a different lunch period. So I collected petitions to keep her in my class and deliver them to the school principal. Because as we know, all politics is local. And though I lost that first campaign, I never stopped advocating for issues, big or small, that I cared about. When I got to UCF back in 2008, I got involved with campus organizing and met a lot of political voices that have walked into these chambers, like State Representative Scott Randolph, his wife Susanna Randolph, Amy Mercado, Steve Shale, so many that looked at this bright-eyed 18-year-old and thought that maybe there was something in her where she could fill those same shoes in the future. They helped me understand the power and importance of local and state government. After completing my undergraduate degree from UCF, go Knights, charge on, in 2012, I was offered a job at my local Planned Parenthood. I actually was offered a lunch at the Panera Bread down the street, and the incoming CEO, who was a young leader herself, Jenna Tosh, offered me a very intro-level job at Planned Parenthood. And I would work there for about 7 years. Rose in the ranks, became the Senior Director of Public Affairs and Communications, went through a merger in 2015 where my service area grew from 4 to 22. As you imagine, I became a road warrior, managing a team of 6, fighting for reproductive health and freedom, and coming to this building with patients to tell their stories. But in 2018, I went from an advocate chasing lawmakers in the halls to a member right here on the House floor. And now you can't run away from me. And so there's so many different people in my life that has brought me to this point where I am today that I want to make sure I give flowers to and recognize. First is my family. My dad, who is one of the most selfless and patriotic people you will meet, he cares so deeply about this country as an immigrant. My big brother, Aria, and sister-in-law, Melanie, who live in Miami now. And, of course, my angel mother, Nasreen. And my twin sister, Ida, who is in the gallery today, in the East Gallery. Give everyone a wave, Ida. I do have a twin sister. Yes! Members, everything my twin sister touches turns into a burst of color, though she always chooses to wear black every day. In 2004, our angel mother passed away after a long fight with colon cancer. My sister always reminds me that with a loss like that, thank you, members, there's always a hole in your heart. But as my sister says, if you allow that heart to get bigger, it just feels much more manageable. And so thank you, Ida, for being that tender warrior and for my partner in crime through all of these years and all this work. I cannot have done any of this without you. I love you. Thank you. Okay, I was trying to break the record of not crying, Mr. Speaker, but I failed. I also want to acknowledge my family in Iran. Many members know that I'm a proud Iranian American, and my family is not representative of the regime in Iran, and I ask humbly that you pray for their safety and the safety of all innocent people and of our service members who are caught in the middle of war and conflict. Second, I have to give a shout out to my amazing teachers. Mr. Kendall, who was my brother's and my science teacher all through middle school and into high school. He came to my mom's funeral with a basket of candy and sodas and treats to remind my sister, myself, and my brother that it was okay to still be kids despite the heaviness of the loss that we had experienced. To Mr. Jurgens, my technical director at University High School, who gave us a safe place to learn and grow in theater and to fall in love with the act of storytelling and, of course, Broadway. And to Mr. Norris, my AP government teacher, who inspired us to become more civically engaged and pushed me to minor in political science, which eventually became a major. There are so many more teachers in my public school system that I could give a shout out to, but I also want to acknowledge my UCF professors, Dr. MC Santana and Dr. Preston Sindler of the UCF Women and Gender Studies program. Great program, despite debate here. Dr. Sadri, Dr. Jewett of the political science department, and of course, my dissertation chairwoman, Dr. Knox, who stuck with me for 8 years. I started my PhD program before I filed for office. Again, didn't think I was going to do this, and kept at it. And despite COVID-19 and all the challenges of serving legislature, I finished my program in 2024. UCF is truly where I grew up as an advocate, and I want to, of course, let y'all know that many of my intimidating questions and good debate points comes from my work at UCF. Third, I want to acknowledge my amazing constituents. I've had the honor of representing 7 different municipalities: Orlando, Winter Park, Edgewood, Belle Isle, Maitland, the historic town of Eatonville, and parts of unincorporated Orange County. Many of the newer members might not remember this, but I ran in a swing seat. So it was a very tough election cycle. For anyone who's done it, you know what I'm talking about. And it forced me to also get out of my comfort zone, to meet constituents of all backgrounds, and knock on doors where there's yard signs, not for me next door, right? And it helped me learn different viewpoints from across the political spectrum, and it also pushed me to be thoughtful in how I build bridges to solve problems. I represent some of the wealthiest zip codes in Central Florida, but I also serve those who are living under I-4 without a home. No matter how much money you have or don't have, your needs are my priority. And I thank you for trusting me, the constituents of District 42, with your stories and your future. Serving you has been the honor of my lifetime. You reminded me every day that representation is not about a title. It's about responsibility, access, and accountability. And finally, members, the fourth and last group of people that have impacted me more than ever are all of you here in the Florida House. And I wish there was time to acknowledge every single person here, because I would have endless stories to tell, and we'd be here, Mr. Speaker, all night. Maybe that's a good way to TP the next bill. But I first want to thank my staff, including my campaign staff, super volunteers, and interns all over the years. And that includes so many people, but to name a few: Alex, Lauren, Brent, James, Madison, Victoria, Zane, Jasmine, Shala, who's here in the gallery, David, Allison, Shane, Juan, Andrea, Sammy, Kaylee, Ken, Wally, Ricardo, and of course, Cheyenne. These are the folks. Yeah, we can hear it. Okay. You are all, like all the staffers for our teams, the unsung heroes of this work. You carried the late nights, the constituent calls, the research, the canvassing, the heartbreak, and the hope. You are public servants in the truest sense, and I'm proud to say that my legislative offices, especially here in Orange County, many of the legislative offices have hired Team Anna interns and alumni, and I'm just so grateful that we continue to impact this process way beyond my years here. And so I want to also, of course, acknowledge the staff that make this place run, the mighty cleanup crew, the IT crew, house printing, and the folks that keep us fed here every single day. You have no idea how much I love our conversations early in the morning and late at night, and how grateful I am to you. Solidarity, appreciation, and love to each one of you. To the committee staff, and especially my friends in the Ways and Means silo, the best committee. And to the Speaker's office, administrative staff, you are brilliant, and nothing here would work without you. To the sergeants, I feel like I've inherited several new Papa Bears and Mama Bears. Thank you for your watchful eyes, your gentle nods, knowing smiles, and for keeping us all safe. To Clerk Jeff Takis and his unmatched team. It's been an honor to nerd out with you, whether it's about ska or Star Wars. But truly, your respect to this process is one that I try to reflect every single day. Thank you for inspiring us to be the best version of ourselves, regardless of how tough the debate gets, and to live up to the title of representative. And to House Democratic staff, you carry so much in an environment that is not built in your favor. Yet every day you get up, you do the work, and you keep us grounded and informed as a caucus. Keep going and never give up. To my movement family, I have been in your shoes, and it is not fun. You are champions for this state. I thank you for defying gravity in all of your advocacy and leading with compassion, conviction, and care, even when that path gets tough. I've been so privileged to practice collaborative governance with you. Keep going. To all of the government affairs professionals, even though we disagree, especially on taxes, please know that I respect the work that you do and the context you provide to every bill number. And finally, to my peers, my members, current and former. There is nowhere else in the state of Florida where you can walk into a house and say that I see all of Florida. And with social media segmenting us and only showing us content that feeds into our bias, I can say that it's been a transformational experience for me to see you, to hear you, and to learn why you feel the way that you do. I'm not just a better public servant because of you. I am truly a better person. Mr. Speaker, you are a fierce advocate for this chamber. And though we do not always agree, the way you have defined the independence of the Florida House will be one that other speakers will no doubt model, and history will remember you fondly for it. And to Chair McClure, I have so much gratitude to you, especially for the time you helped my twin sister and I in Plant City when we ran out of gas. I appreciate you more than you know, and I'm grateful that I can always call on you when I need an extra little push. To all members of the majority party, colleagues in the front rows, we have not always seen eye to eye. In fact, many of the most important fights on this House floor of my time here have placed us on opposite sides. But disagreement is not an indication of failure. It's essential to the process. And my hope is that even in our toughest debates, we remember the humanity behind each one of us. And we remember that the people of Florida deserve leaders who listen, who learn, and are willing to reconsider when the evidence and the lived experiences of our constituents call us to do so. To my leader, and to my entire Democratic caucus, it has been a gift of a lifetime to inherit so many new brothers and sisters. I hope I've done my part to not only be a good colleague to each one of you, but also a good friend and an accomplice, and a good accomplice in creating good trouble. I want to give a special shout out to my Orange County delegation and to my work husband, Senator Carlos Guillermo Smith. And if you asked him, everything I am, I owe to him. I love you all so much, and I can't wait to see leadership you will continue to demonstrate, especially for the working class. As I wrap up my closing remarks, Mr. Speaker, I want to remind us that public service is not about winning every argument, though I have won many. It's about improving lives. The chamber works best when we remember that we are temporary stewards of something much greater than ourselves. The consequences of our votes endure long after we are gone. Florida is a dynamic, diverse, complicated, and extraordinary state. It deserves leaders who listen more than they speak, who prioritize people over politics and corporate greed, who spend less time chasing retweets and more time solving problems. People who understand that disagreement does not always have to mean disrespect. If I leave you with anything, it is this. The personal is political, and policy is the ultimate connector between the two. So when we debate healthcare, someone is still waiting for treatment. When we debate housing, someone doesn't know if they can afford to live in their home. When we debate public education, a child's future is being shaped. When we debate funding, somebody is waiting on the APD waitlist. When we debate social safety net, someone is facing a delayed unemployment benefit. When we debate immigration, racial justice, and LGBTQ+ rights, we risk otherizing people that we care and love. When we debate voting rights, the strength of our democracy hangs in the balance. And when we talk about land use, we're talking about Florida's precious ecosystems. Behind every bill is a human story, and behind every vote we cast is a life that will be impacted. And we may not always agree on the solutions, but please remember that there is no scarcity to human dignity, that your success does not always have to be tied to someone else's failure, and doesn't always have to be a zero-sum game. As I close this chapter, I do so with a deep sense of gratitude, but also an unshaken belief in Florida's future. Progress is rarely linear. It can be incremental and zigzag, sometimes frustratingly slow, and always driven by people who refuse to give up. It took us 5 years in this chamber to eliminate the tax on diapers for kids. 5 years. A reminder to the freshmen here that sometimes good policy does take a long time to pass. But nevertheless, hope is not naive. Hope is disciplined. Hope is disciplined, and we build it together. For all members of my senior class, you also know that service does not end with a term limit. And so I wish you good luck in your next endeavors. As you might know, and as I mentioned, I'm a huge Star Wars fan. And the new series Andor, which everyone should watch, there's a code phrase that the rebels use to identify one another in different spaces. That code is, I have friends everywhere. As I leave this house, I do so knowing that even in some of the most unexpected ways, and in one of the most remarkable places, that I have friends everywhere. Thank you again for 8 impactful years. And for those who are worried about missing my voice here on the House floor or the Florida channel, don't worry. If the voters agree, you very well might hear my voice every day on the tram at the Orlando International Airport. And for one of the last times of my public service career, I will say, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Yay.